Welcome to the Gray People Podcast, Episode 2.
Welcome to the Gray People Podcast, where topics that people expect to be black and white are discussed by going into the gray areas. And now, your trio of hosts, Sebastian Zuniga, Reina Rivera, and Randy Felice.
Welcome everybody to episode 2. Thank you for showing support on the first episode. We're happy to be back. Today's subject that we want to talk about is actually 2 questions. We're going to break it down. Question number 1, when is the appropriate age to start dating? So if your parents out there or you remember when you started dating, I want you guys to think about that because we're going to talk about that right now. What is the appropriate age to start dating? And question number 2, is there a certain age gap that's too much when you're dating, whether you're 16, 17, or you're grown, you're 30 years old, you're 45, you're 27. What is that? And I want to get everybody's thoughts. Randy and Reina, jump in. Let me know what you guys think.
Yeah, so we're excited about this because I think we've all dated at some point.
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
Yeah, but you stopped dating, right?
I have been dating.
Just
I'm
checking.
still
There's
in the
no
game.
relation on this
Yeah,
show.
hit me up, ladies. So talking about how young is too young to be dating. I think most people, and I think it's kind of common for most people to start dating around the age of 16, right? And that's kind of what most people do now. I can tell you when I was young or when I was a kid, from what, I don't know if it's so much like dating structure, like going out to a restaurant and all that, but I think you start hanging out with girls and try to start making out and things like that around the age of
Okay.
9, 10,
9,
12.
10?
I like
Holy
how you
crap.
everybody remember that our friend Randy of the show here,
Jeez.
on the podcast, one of us, Randy was raised in Dominican Republic, so we understand that 9, 8, 10
No, I think
might be a little different than the
no,
States.
because it is
Apparently.
different. Porque se ponen a jugar escondido, so you start playing like hide and seek, and next thing you know,
No, I
you
get you.
a little kiss
I
here
like-
and there, and that's your girlfriend for the moment. It's the
Randy,
way
I like
that
how,
thing's
I like
gonna
how you
work.
broke that down. You said that the structure of dating, whether that is like officially going on a date to go to a movie or go to dinner, but I like that.
Dating is just so weird. So, I don't know. Right now, because there's so much access to phones and stuff like that, I personally wouldn't feel comfortable for my kid to be dating until she's probably 18.
18.
And I think
Find
that's
the love of your life in college.
So on her 18th birthday, she will be leaving your house. Just let you know that
I don't
much.
they teach you.
Again, I don't feel comfortable. It's not like she's
She
not going
finally
to do it. But
gets
it's
permission
just...
to get a Snapchat at the age of 18. That's great.
Honestly, I think, call me crazy, but I say 15, 16. You want to go out on some light dates.
And you just drop them off and you pick them up. Maybe I'll be okay with something like that,
Yeah, it's not
but
bad.
not by themselves.
Maybe a group date, obviously. When
Yes.
people say group dates, people go out. And here I'm going to be a little biased. Obviously, if I have a son one day, he wants to date at 15, 16, I'm thinking,
Like,
hey,
yo,
go
get
do
it,
your
man.
thing. And I hate to say it, but maybe if I have a daughter, I'm like, hey, for sure I got to meet the guy.
Yeah.
I know that for sure.
And you're not dating until you're 42.
Hey, you're not going to date for a while. He could come over. You guys could watch TV with me. We can hang
It's
out.
like we can Netflix and
Well,
chill.
and I think one thing I think that adds on to all that is kind of the relationship that you have with your parents. Because, I think if it becomes too strict, then you just want to do it just to be a rebel. Part of it has got to do with that, relationship. And I think if you have those talks at an early age and say, hey, you know what, I know you're going to start seeing boys in school or girls in school that you think they're attractive and you're going to want to, play the little spin the bottle or whatever. Just understanding how far that goes, right? And I think part of it is what's the limits, right?
Okay. So let me throw you guys a little curveball because I'm thinking right now. Question number 2, to bring that in about the gap in dating. Let's make believe you guys have children. What's the gap that they could date?
I
You have your imaginary 16-year-old daughter, 16-year-old son. What's the youngest they can date?
I think it becomes somewhere around 18, maybe pushing in 19, depending if it's a good kid from a nice family,
What do you
I'd
say,
probably
Raina?
stop it at 18.
and the nerdiest nerd.
Okay.
Which is funny to
Just-
say because obviously I'm sure when we were dating we weren't thinking about these age differences. I mean, I probably dated when I was 16 or 17. I was probably going out with somebody older.
Well,
You probably were.
Probably.
I can't.
I
I
guess we have
can't.
to
I
get
can't deny or
records.
confirm.
I guess we got to get records from Puerto Rico to find out.
I think, like, for me, I always kind of stuck around my age. I mean, I wasn't 17 dating someone that was 25, or 22 or 21. It was always, like, girls from my school or my same classroom. So typically they were around my same age. Now, I think when you go past 18 and you're now 19, 20 out there dancing, clubbing, or whatever, then you do come across a little bit more of that age gap. For me, for a kid, I mean, if I'm a parent, I would say 16 to about 18 is a good gap. Now, I think when you become older, that gap becomes bigger and it becomes acceptable. But I think it gets to a point where I think it's a little weird.
Okay,
Like,
so
if
let's talk about that. Let's dig in deeper. So, 29-year-old woman can date
a 39-year-old guy or a 19-year-old kid if she wants to.
I don't know about the 19.
What you
I
think,
think it's
Reina?
fine.
What you think?
I wouldn't go lower. I would just go higher.
And I think that's what you typically see. I think you see more women that date on the older side of things, but I
Unless
think
you're a celebrity,
that's
like
different.
J-Lo.
Well, J-Lo's just absolutely
She can do whatever she wants.
gorgeous, yeah.
But
You
J-Lo
know.
probably dates younger because she's just looking for fun. Because she's already established. She's not looking for someone to.
Yeah, she's looking for fun. Who's she dating right now?
A-Rod.
A-Rod?
And he's
Yeah.
old. He's like 40 something.
So I think
No, she's older than him 4 or 5 years, but
Yeah.
that is
and,
nothing.
and he has more money.
Yeah, for fun. Yeah, I'd like to date like that for fun too.
no, I think it's so. What you're saying is that most girls want a sugar daddy, so they can take care of them. Because I mean,
Not a
if they-
sugar daddy, but
She's like, at least a Splenda, dude.
girls
Something.
mature quicker than men. So
You don't got to give me the sugar, just a little bit of the sweet, anything.
No, but I think, like, if there's more than a 10-year gap, right? If you're 40 and you're dating someone that's 21, then that's like, oh shit, that's too much. I think for
Okay,
society, for
Honestly, I'll go ahead and say, right now, I go 10 younger, 10 older.
people. So
I'm cool.
you-
date.
10?
Date. I'm 28. If you're 18, we can date. If you're 38, we can date.
Well, there's a difference. Dating to just date or dating to lead to like an actual relationship, maybe marriage in the future.
Well, but isn't that what
It
you're
depends.
supposed to be
It
dating
just
for?
depends.
No, people date for fun too.
It just
to
depends
date.
how-
They
how
hook
we
up
click.
for fun.
I personally know of people that have dated somebody that's 15, 20 years older than them, and they have a great relationship. So I think it may be a case-by-case basis. But generally speaking, I say a 7 to 10 year gap, 12, a decade here and there. You probably still make it work, no problem.
I just want to share new experiences together. I don't want to be the one with the experience and then
That's a
the
good
other
point.
person has to like go about his life doing things that I've already done. So it's kind of like, I don't know. That's why I wouldn't go younger. I would want to go like the same age or higher.
So you don't think the guy will be bored? That kind of the opposite. The guy is thinking like, oh, this girl is too young for me. Like she hasn't lived.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that because I've dealt with a couple younger ladies, and that can happen.
Well, see, my experience, usually I dated a little older. Like, I would date, like, when I was 19, I was dating people, or not people, like, I was dating girls
That's
that were,
fine. We support everybody on the show.
no, I was dating girls that were 21, 22. I mean, I didn't go anything, like, older
And-
than
Yeah, that's
that.
okay.
And
but-
just for
But
and
10 years?
just for giggles, where are these lovely ladies at currently? Do you know any of these ladies?
somewhere around the valley.
Were these dancing for
I see them on Facebook and Instagram.
Just so you
sometimes.
guys know, Randy and I, many moons ago, we used to go dancing quite a bit.
Yeah,
Go to the
Wednesday
club.
through Sunday.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're avid Latin dancers. Randy's great at bachata. He could teach you that. Those steps.
Depends. Now I gotta get it approved.
Okay. So let's finish this. Let's just say, final thoughts. I'm going to ask on two things, and I'm going to let you guys know. So, final thoughts on the two questions. One, how old, if you had a child or if somebody was underage, can they start dating? Or just in general, when can somebody start dating? And question number two, what's the biggest gap? Randy, go first.
All right, so the question number one, if you're young, I would say 3 years. I will put the gap at 3 years. If you're 16, go maybe to about 19. Now, of course,
And you're 16, so you can also date a 13-year-old.
yeah, if you're 16, you can date a 13-year-old. I think that's fine by me.
We'll dig further into that next episode. Okay, next question.
Now, if you're older, right, I guess an adult, 10 years of difference, as long as you don't go below 18. So like if you're 20,
Of course, we definitely
can't
follow
go
the
like-
laws on the show.
if you're an adult, then I think 10 years is a good gap. Assuming you don't go below the 18,
Okay,
and
Okay.
well, then
Okay.
don't go too crazy on the
the
old.
beautiful Raina, what you got to say about that?
So I'm gonna change my mind with my first answer as far as what age I would allow my child to date.
Okay.
I said 18. I know that's too much. It's just overbearing. So let's just go with a happy medium of 17.
Okay,
And she needs to tell me, or she or he needs to tell me where they're going, what time I'm gonna pick them up. So that's, I guess, the terms.
so you're also saying that your kids are not driving at 17, but okay, continue.
And then, as far as the gap when they're younger, I'd probably say 2 years, 3 max, no more than that. For myself, as far as like the gap, I find more comfortable. I would never go 10 years. That's too much. Let's just say 5. Like, let's say we're 20. No, that sounds horrible. You can't go 15.
No, of course you can't go.
Well,
below
because there's
18
different
ever.
states of life, but
That's just crazy.
let's find
Okay,
a
okay. Let's just say we're 25. You can go 30 or you can go 20. That sounds reasonable to me.
Okay,
Makes sense. How about
Now-
you, Sebastian? So
I go ahead and say question number 1. 15 years old, you can start dating in my household as long as you pay bills. Nah, I'm just kidding. 15 years old, you could date. Obviously, I need to be well informed. If I have a daughter and the young man has to come and meet me, and if I have a son, then good luck to you. I'll see you soon. Come back home early. And then the gap, to me, 10, 12, 13, 15 years, I'm cool with that.
Are you
I don't care.
for real?
If you're 45 and you got yourself a 30-year-old and it's working out for you, hey,
Okay, so I
good
guess
for
it
you.
depends on
Who
what
am I?
part of life you're
for all
at.
part of life, yeah. But generally speaking, a good 10-year gap, 7 to 10 max, that's cool. But if it leads to 11, 12, 15, depending what part of life you're in, then yeah, I honestly, I think when it comes to that, as long as people click and they're okay with it, it doesn't really matter if anybody else thinks something else. So as long as the two people are happy in the relationship and they can vibe and not
And it's
step
a
on each
healthy
other's toes,
relationship.
yeah, it's healthy relationship.
well,
Hey,
it's
by
just
all means,
hard,
do
man.
it.
Think about it, man. There's little girls right now on Snap and doing all these crazy things. You're trying to be 45 with somebody that's 20.
Okay, that's on the next episode. God.
Maybe you're lucky enough and you find someone with the exact same birthday as you.
Maybe. Anyway,
He said, maybe.
all right. So we're gonna move on to our next segment, the 3, 2, 1, where we talk about one impactful thing that we each saw or liked this week or whatever the case is. So we'll talk about that. But before we do that, let us know below in the comments what you thought. Maybe like what was the age that you started dating, what you think is a good age to
Yep.
start dating. At the same time, after you become an adult, then maybe what's the biggest gap that you think is appropriate. Let us know. We want to know what you think so that we can create a conversation around the
Nice,
topics
I
and
like
maybe
that.
we get
Let's
to
do that, people.
yeah, maybe
Please
we'll get to what the
comment,
next
please.
topics are going to be. So, the 3, 2, 1. Who wants to start?
Ladies first.
Thank you, Sebastian. So, the other day I saw something on Instagram which I thought was pretty powerful and beautiful. I saw a proposal picture, but the twist on it was that when the, I guess the lady getting proposed to was turned around, the future husband and his daughter were both on their knees. So I thought that was pretty
Wow.
cool and different.
So, like a joint
And-
proposal. So the girl was like wanting a new daddy,
Bang!
That's pretty good. That's
Thanks for
different.
taking the.
or maybe it was the actual dad. That
The
could have been
inspiration
it.
out of it.
Maybe they just weren't married before. Sorry. No, that's a pretty good one. That's actually pretty neat. That's pretty cool.
I thought that was pretty nice and unique and just a beautiful message of unity.
All right. What about you, Seba? What's something that?
Impactful takeaway, I'd say I'm going to go kind of touch on things that we mentioned kind of last week. That I take away is supporting your friends or people you believe in. So whether that's a local artist up and coming, in this particular case, I'd say supporting. I got a good friend. He's a barber. If you're in the Salt Lake area, go to Rico's Barbershop, ask for ABD. The boy can cut. He's probably the best one here in Salt Lake. I'll go ahead and say it. He might crack a couple jokes on you, but hey, it's worth the cut. So I say, yeah, I take away supporting people, especially people that you believe in. Obviously, vice versa, they can support you too. So I'd say that's a big takeaway. When you see, your friends or people you care for, they're trying to start something from the ground up, like this podcast. It's really easy to support somebody you don't know, some celebrity, but for some reason, sometimes it gets hard to support somebody you personally know.
Yeah.
So I just say, just believe in people's dreams. So just show them support.
For sure. So shout out to everybody that's been letting us know so far they like it and letting us know their comments about what we're doing. We really appreciate it. Shout out to ABD doing his thing. So
Boricua.
Yeah, there you go.
the other thing for me, I guess one thing for me that was impactful, I came across this video about bachata dancing.
Oh, I saw you posted it. That was too much, man. What were they doing?
They weren't doing bachata dancing.
Looked
They were
like a
doing
Zumba
something
class.
else. They were doing some kind of ballet mixed with martial arts, mixed with.
That looked like capoeira
And-
dancing.
But so
They're from Tekken.
Shout out to other people in Brazil.
so we're gonna if you guys want the link or if you want to see the video, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to send the video to anybody so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. But for me, I guess the biggest thing, the reason that it kind of hit me, I mean, I've seen it for years. This last few years has been kind of bachata dancing and dancing in general, salsa, whatever it is, but professional dancing, I guess, quote unquote, has become this thing of looks strange to me. But it hit me and it made me think, right? Like things change, music change. We've seen it with hip hop, where now we have this trap movement going on. We see it with salsa, where back in the 60s, 70s, it was a whole different salsa than what we see
Sure.
today. But it made me think, is this where dancing is going? And not to sound like an old dude, but I don't like it personally. I feel like
Okay.
they're killing the culture. They're killing what it really meant. Like bachata used to be sensual, and it used to be like, feel good. I don't know. It just used to be something. Now it just feels like maybe for the likes, maybe for the
I get you.
it's just become this thing.
You guys got
where-
to see the video. It's just out of this world.
That's when you need the dislike button.
Yeah, and it's strange, and of course, it was Jay Ramirez that posted it on Instagram. I don't know if he's the first one that saw the video, but
Shout out Jay Ramirez.
yeah, no, but in reality, right, he made it funny with his face expressions and the cuts that he did. So it's a funny video, but I think in general, it really made me think, beyond all the comments, it kind of blew up. I didn't expect as many people really to comment on the video, which was kind of funny. I think we had a good conversation, but I don't know, it just kind of made me really kind of think
Okay.
about music and the change in things, and this is the way things are going, and can you do anything about it? I'm not about to start dancing and doing my own videos to try to take away from what
Randy, ya tú estás viejo.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, no sé, para mí como que no es bachata, digo yo.
All right, that's what's up then. All right, cool. So that was the 3, 2, 1.
All right, guys, we've made it to the end of the episode of Great People Podcast. Just to remind you, we always want to leave you with a positive note. We call it the People's Note, which is our version of the quote of the day. And it is, if the plan doesn't work, change the plan, but never the goal.
It's
I
good.
like that.
It's good.
That's good.
So, again, we're always going to try to leave it in a positive note, leave you with something you can take away. So hopefully you guys enjoy this episode as well. We really appreciate you guys tuning in again. And thank you again for supporting the first episode, letting us know your thoughts on that. Please let us know below in the comments. Please subscribe if you haven't. Comment.
Share with your friends.
Yes,
yeah.
please. Thank you.
Share it. Send us an email with what the next topic should be. Put in the comments. Just let us know what you guys think.
Shout out to, honestly, everybody that makes this possible, which Randy does a lot here for the podcast. Raina, thank you so much for letting me be a part of this. We will have our correspondent next week. I'm
Shout out
excited to hear
Sean.
what he's got going on. And we want to shout out our boy here from the show, Cabrera HD, with his song Mensaje de Voz. Go download it on elgenero.com. All right, once again, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week on the next episode. Cut.